Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about input by output paths and power distribution. So in the previous video we have discussed about packaging. So what is a package? We studied what are the different types of packages and essential requirements of the package have been studied in our previous video. In this video let us discuss about input by output circuits. So what are the requirements of this input by output circuits? So the essential requirements of this input by output circuits is the first one. In going to the first one is it has to drive the big loads since the package and transmission lines, due to package and transmission lines, it has the availability to drive big loads. So due to the packaging density as well as transmission lines, this input by output circuits should drive big loads. And the second one is voltage consistency here. So when there is any fluctuation in the input voltage or supply voltage, when there is any fluctuation in the input or supply voltages, what happens to the board? So it will cause a damage over there in the board. So definitely there will be a constant voltage should be there. So the requirement of this IOC circuits is a voltage consistency here. So to protect from the fluctuations, provided by the supply voltages or input voltages, so this input by output circuit require a voltage consistency. And the third one is the transmission line inductance. Due to transmission line inductance, it will provide some amount of noise, and that also going to be reduced, and that is also one of the requirement of this input by output circuits. And the last one is the ESD protection. So ESD protection means electrostatic discharge protection. So this electrostatic discharge protection is due to high potential differences of electric external devices. So due to external devices, so some high potential differences will occurs in the board. So that's the reason this input by output circuit require a ESD protection in it. And next, in going to the types of input by output circuits, so there are several types of basic input by output cells. So let us discuss about that one. In going to the first one is a digital input by output buffer. Second one is the analog input by output cell. Third one is the power supplies. In going to the digital input by output buffers, it will provide high drive up level shifting output. So it is going to provide high drive up level shifting output. So high level of shifting output is there, and also it provides a down level shifting and ESD protection for the inputs, means electrostatic discharge protection for the inputs. Next, in going to the analog input by output cells, it will provide ESD protection among the inputs, among the analog input by outputs. So it is used to provide input by output lines. It is used to provide analog input by output lines with ESD protection. So it is going to provide the input by output line similarly like bus. It is going to provide input by output lines similarly like bus, but it should be a ESD protected, means electrostatic discharge protected. And next, in going to the power supplies, so it has to provide some power to the input by output as well as core, means our processor. So it has to provide power to the input by output as well as core supplies, and also it has to provide the basis for ESD protection. Next, in going to the individual part of this discussion, digital input by output buffers, analog input by output cells, power supplies. In going to the digital input by output buffers, so it will drive the large capacitive loads. It is going to drive large capacitive loads which will be in the order of picofarads, and it has increasing fan out. So increasing fan out is there. So increasing fan out implies, means one gate is going to drive the large number of gates. So it has increasing fan out inverter chain, and also it is unacceptable for the short circuit current. So I repeat, so the main points in digital input by output buffer is the digital input by output buffer will drive large capacitive loads which will be in the order of picofarads. Next, it is having an increasing fan out inverter chain, means one gate is going to drive the large number of weights. Similarly, which we have studied this topic in digital integrated circuits. Next, it is unacceptable for short circuit gain, short circuit current. And if you see, this is a representation of digital input by output buffer, where it is going to receive the data with the help of the pin. And next, pad implies interface between CMOS logic and the outside wall. VDD, VDD-IO, VSS and VSS-IO are the biasing inputs. D out is the transmitting end pin. So this is the out pin and this is the in pin, and this is the enable one. And next, in going to the electrostatic discharge protection, the electrostatic discharge protection is the most important reliability problems in the integrated circuit industry. And this ESD protection circuit will divert the high currents. It will going to divert the high currents away from the internal circuit, and also clamp high voltages during the ESD stress. So this is a pad which is acting as an interface between the integrated circuit as well as outside wall. So this is a primary. So from this pad we need to transmit the data to this internal circuit. So this, what this pad is going to do, it is acting as an interface between integrated circuit as well as outside wall. So let us take example. This is a internal circuit, nothing but our CMOS circuit. I repeat, this pad is acting as an interface between integrated circuit as well as outside wall. So let us take the example. This is an outside wall which is showing with my mouse cursor. If it is an outside wall, this is an internal circuit. So it is acting as an interface between this internal circuits or integrated circuit to the outside wall of this pad. So between this pad and integrated circuit there is an ESD protection here, and this ESD protection can be done with the help of three steps. One is the primary ESD protection, second one is the current limiting resistor, third one is the secondary ESD protection. These primary and secondary ESD protections will divert the high currents away from the internal circuits, and also it will clamp the high voltages when there is an ESD stress, when there is an electrostatic discharge. Okay, and this will be turned on one until or unless when the primary ESD elements are turned on. I repeat, what is going to be happen here is, this pad is acting as an interface between outside wall to the internal circuits or integrated circuits. So this outside wall means our our user. So this outside wall has to instruct some values to these internal circuits. So that will be done with the help of this pad, but it is not directly connected to the internal circuits. It is going to connect to the internal circuits with the help of some ESD protection, nothing but electrostatic discharge protection. So this electrostatic discharge protection will divert the high voltages away from the internal circuits, and also it will clamp the high voltages levels. So when there is an ESD stress. So for these block diagram representation can be easily understand with the help of some circuit diagram. So that circuit is represented here, and this pad is acting as an interface between this outside wall to this internal circuit, and these resistor and these resistors and diode clamps will act as primary and secondary ESD circuits, where this resistor will limit the current, which you have shown here, current limit resistor. It will limit the current. This current limit resistor will limits the current, and these diodes will clamps the higher voltage. It will clamps the higher voltage. When this diode will clamps the higher voltage means when it exceeds the voltage, or when it exceeds the voltage VDD greater than 0.7 volts. So when the VDD is greater than 0.7 volts, this diode starts conducting. So and the diodes will act as electrostatic discharge protection. So and this current limit resistor will limit the current. So whatever the data from the user or outside wall has to be transmitted to these internal circuits, but there is a ESD protection, and this ESD protection will be done with the help of this circuit. And this circuit is having resistor, where this resistor are current limit resistor which will limit the current. And next, These diodes will clamp the higher voltage levels. So this is all about the representation of these three blocks, right? And next, in going to the analog input by output cell, so this analog input by output cell is used for passing the analog signals to by from the chip. So it simply transmits the data, or simply acting as an interface between input by output. As basically it is a wire, no need to worry, it is a wire or a bunch of wires which you have seen in our central processing units. So it will transmit the data between input by output, but it has some degree of ESD protection. There should be a ESD protection in it, means electrostatic discharge protection will be there for the bunch of wires or analog input by output cells. Next, in going to the configuration of input by output pads, so the pad configurations are of three types. First one is the inline, second one is a staggered, third one is a circuit under pad. In going to the first one, inline, the pads are placed closely with each other. See here, all the pads are closely with each other, and each individual pad each individual pad which is represented with blue color. So in this, each individual pad is acting as bond pad. See here, what I am going to say here in this is, in inline configuration mode, all the pads are connected with each other. All the pads are simultaneously connected with each other. All the pads are connected with each other with some small gap between them. There is a small gap between each pad. All the pads are connected together. All the pads are connected together, and each pad, between these two pads there is a small gap in it, and each individual pad is represented with a bond pad shown in yellow color. Each individual pad is acting as a bond pad here. Next, in going to the staggered means distribute. So in this, all the pads are connected with each other. Here a large number of pads can be accumulated in this region. We can accommodate large number of pads here, where in case of in this inline package it is applicable for limited number, but here it can accommodate large number of pads, but it is a limited one. This is a this can accommodate large number of pads in it. And in this, the overall height of the pad is going to be increased here. See here, that is represented with the arrow mark. The overall height of the pad structure is going to increase, no need to worry. But this has several advantages in compared to this one. This is applicable for limited one, and this can be applicable for large number of pads. And here, here 8 pads has been taken. In alternative pads, one pad is acting as inner bond pad, second one is acting as outer bond pad. So see here, in these 8 pads which are connected with each other, but in case of here, individual pad is acting as bond pad, but in this case, one pad is acting as inner bond pad, second one is acting as outer bond pad. So alternatively it is working here. So see here, at the first stage it is acting as inner bond pad, at the second one it is acting as outer bond, third one is inner, fourth one is outer, fifth one is inner, seventh, sixth one is outer, seventh one is the inner, eighth one is the outer bond. So alternatively it is acting as inner bond pad as well as outer bond pad. See here, this 1, 3, 5 and 7 is acting as inner bond pad, and the outer bond pad is all about the pads 2, 4, 6 and 8. This 2, 4, 6 and 8 is acting as outer bond pad. Simply the staggered means which we are going to distribute. So what all these pads are going to do means, it is going to act as an interface between the outside world or user to the internal circuits. Simply it is going to act as an interface between outside world to the internal circuits. So here the staggering means we are going to distribute that pads into input by output pads as well as output by input pads. So simply I am going to distribute that pads into input levels as well as output levels. So simply 1, 3 and 5 and 7 are acting as input or inner bond pad, and 2, 4, 6 and 8 are acting as outer bond pad here. And this is a non CUP, means non CUP means circuit under pad. This is not a, this comes under non CUP, means circuit under pad. Next we are going to the circuit under pad. This circuit under pad is the, has the bonding pad over the input by output body itself. So it has the bonding pad over the input by output structure. So this CUP or circuit under pad input by output can substantially reduce the die size. If you see among these two pads, inline and staggered, the size of this die is very small, since the bonding pad doesn't takes extra space, so it doesn't require any extra space in addition to the input by output body itself. So here it requires large space in compared to inline as well as staggered, but it takes a small space, or it doesn't require any extra space in bonding the pad. So this CUP input by output or circuit under pad input by output can be substantially will reduce the die size, so since the bonding pad doesn't take any extra space here in addition to the input by output body itself. So with this I am going to complete the input by output pads and power distribution. So for any references, please go through the textbook Digital VLSI design by Ajay Kumar Singh. Thank you very much.